Hi, everyone. Welcome to WorkRise Shorts. My name is Megan Tackney, and I'm the Director of Partnerships and Engagement here at WorkRise. WorkRise is a research to action network hosted at the Urban Institute that thinks about jobs, workers, and mobility. Today, we're happy to be hosting Lorraine Sands. She is legal organizer with GLOW, Grassroots Law and Organizing for Workers. And we're going to be talking about their latest research that thinks about racial and gender discrimination at access to work at temporary staffing agencies. Welcome, Lorraine. Our first question is, what exact problem were you hoping to solve with this research?
Yeah, it's a big question because it's such a big problem. So we were hoping with this research to advance the process of bettering temp workers' rights, but also really to highlight the rampant discrimination that takes place in temporary staffing agencies. In this report, particularly with Houston and Nashville, but really in the national context. So we wanted to make sure that it was clear that temporary staffing agencies and the companies that use them create a second-tiered workforce. And we were hoping to address this by making that problem really, really clear for advocates, but really the general public and really labor agencies and government agencies that are responsible for enforcing employment rights. So from our years of advocating for temp workers' rights, we really have seen that the temp industry relies on the exclusion and the exploitation of Black and Brown immigrant and women workers. And with a very racist history, starting with roots back to post-sharecropping and a lot of misogyny, we see that there is a foundational racism and a foundational misogyny that continues through today in the practices of temporary staffing agencies. And so we see Black workers routinely passed over for jobs. We see immigrant workers routinely put in positions and then exploited. Together, this exploitation and discrimination creates a really big problem that is creating not good jobs for people that are often working for companies that are multi-million-dollar corporations.
I guess staying on that for a second, in thinking about reaching wide audiences, why would you tell them that this matters? Why is this such a problem?
Yeah, that's a really good question. This is such a problem, and it's one I think about a lot because as someone intimately involved with the happenings in the temp work world, it's easy to forget that not everybody knows about it. But basically, if you are watching this, please know every product you interact with on a day-to-day basis, a temp worker's hands has likely touched it. The temporary staffing industry is a $186 billion industry, and it is growing. And it is getting roots in the South, and it is widely being used more and more by every sector that you can think of. So like food processing, product creation. And so temp staffing is one of the biggest employers. And we see companies that are big companies like GM, General Mills, so many companies are using temp staffing as a way to skirt liability. And we want the public and the government agencies to know that this is happening and that there are major legal violations at play.
So what did your research actually find?
Yes. So what our research actually found is that we did find potential race-based discrimination in both Harris County and in Nashville. And so what that means is that we did a match paired testing project where we sent in, where we had a third-party organization, Equal Rights Center, send in testers, Black and Latino testers and male and women testers, and compare how they were treated when applying for work. And what our research found is what temp workers have been telling us for years, which is that Latino workers are often offered jobs that are paid at higher rates, are often offered jobs faster. Black workers are often questioned further about their criminal background, questioned further about their work history, and often not provided job offers at least as speedily as they're given to others. So specifically, I can tell you that at one agency, I believe a Black tester went in, asked if there was any work available, and was told that there was no work. And then a few moments later, a Latina tester went in, asked if there was work, and was told pretty immediately about a warehouse working job, paid at $15 an hour, which is information that they did not give to the Black tester. And this just kind of shows the disparate treatment that occurs. We also found gender discrimination. So in one instance, I believe a man went in about a job and was told about a position that was unloading trailers and lifting, moving products. And then the female tester that went in was only told about a job on a newspaper production line that wasn't even currently hiring. So we see the difference in jobs that are offered based on race and based on gender pretty clearly in our report.
So what do you want people to do with this? Which stakeholders do you think can really take this research and take action?
Oh, yes. That's really the goal of our work, right? We want people to do something about it. So what we would love to see happen is stronger laws for temp workers across the country. So we would love for advocates that are working on temp work and supporting temp workers. We at GLOW run a coalition called the Temp Work Advocacy Coalition, and we are always thinking about the different ways that local legislation and policy making has passed and is strengthening temp workers' rights, and thinking really deeply about how we can coordinate nationally to make sure that we can get some federal legislation passed to protect temp workers. So I would say policy advocates, we want you paying attention to this. We would also really love government agencies responsible for enforcing certain rights, like the right to not be discriminated against, the right to fair wages, the right to have safety when you're working. We would like agencies that are responsible for enforcing those rights to enforce them. We would like them to enforce them more regularly and more robustly. And if anything, we would love for there to be just a public knowledge that this is happening, and government agencies really stepping up and taking a deeper look at what's happening in these industries. And if that means, creating a list of bad actor temp agencies, then that's what that means. And making sure that repeated violations are made clear, and that is information that workers have access to. We see, in addition to discrimination, we see low wages, a lot of injuries and deaths on the job, child labor in 2024 through temp agencies. So these are all things that we want both advocates working on policy and folks in the government paying very close attention to and creating stronger regulations around.
Thank you, Lorraine. I think that leaves us with a lot to think about, both in terms of your research and what can be done about it. I want to thank you for joining us here for WorkRise Shorts. I know that we're going to see more from this project as GLOW continues its mission. If you want to read about this research, please visit WorkRise's website where you can hear more about it. So thank you, Lorraine.
Thanks so much for having us, WorkRise and Megan.
Great.